objects. No one wanted them.
But Jesus did. He called each one of them by name and made it personal and said,
"Follow me."
Jesus was going to heal a sick child when a woman who needed healing of her own touched his robe. Although he was pressed for time, Jesus stopped and asked,
"Who touched me?"
Out steps this shy, apologetic woman, explaining what she had just done and hoped she was not in trouble, was in a total state of shock when the Son of God made it personal and said,
"Woman, because of your faith, you are healed."
Jesus went out of his way to comfort the mourning family and friends of Lazarus. Seeing their pain, Jesus wept too. The compassion he showed was astounding, but it didn't stop there. He called for him.
"Lazarus, come out."
And Lazarus did just that. He walked out of the tomb alive and well. He called his name. You cannot get any more personal than that. Imagine this. If Jesus would have just said, "Come out," a bunch of dead people could have risen from the grave. But not only did Christ have the power to raise the dead, he had a power to make a personal connection.
Jesus experienced opposition from many religious leaders. One tried to stump him by asking, "What is the greatest of all commandments?" Jesus had a simple response for that, but it gave us the most personal responsibility we have as his followers.
Love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. And love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Jesus was confronted in the garden by one of his students. For just 30 silver coins, Judas betrayed the Son of God with a kiss on the cheek. Yet Jesus called him friend. Jesus made it personal. The guards gathered, and the long night began.
On the way to the cross, Jesus was arrested and was put on trial illegally, whipped, beaten, spit upon. He listened as the world threw insults at his majestic claim. The angry mob made it very personal.
On the way to the cross, Jesus would speak to the mourners personally, even though he was the one beaten and bruised, making the long trek to Golgotha.
On the cross, Jesus' hands and feet were nailed, yet he personally prayed for those who were hurting him.
Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing.
On the cross, Jesus would hang and suffer for 6 hours until finally he died. The perfect person, the perfect sacrifice.
The cross seemed like a personal victory for those who opposed Jesus.
The cross seemed like a personal tragedy to those who loved Jesus.
After the cross, Jesus' body was placed in a tomb, but the grave couldn't hold him.
So he did what he personally said he would do. He did what separates him from all other man-made gods. He rose from the grave.
After the cross and the tomb, on his way back to the Father, Jesus made a personal stop and visited his disciples and at least 500 other eyewitnesses.
Jesus made it personal for you and me by paying our price and offering to us eternal life.
Will you let the story of the cross go in through one ear and out the other when it comes to the claims of Christ and what he did for you?
Or will you make it personal?